All right, Obi, thanks very much. And here at Cintas Center, 2-2 early on, and it has been scrappy underneath. Gonzaga banging on the offensive glass, and Holloway pulls up and buries the jumper. Guards against guards, going to be interesting tonight, Alfonso.
The young guards of Gonzaga playing against one of the most experienced, and I would argue one of the top backcourts in all the country in Holloway and Mark Lyons.
Oh, Walker gets a block on Harris, and it's Mark Lyons the other way. Wells kicked out of bounds, and it'll stay with Xavier. All right, one-on-one, and we talked about the contrast and experience between these backcourts.
Well, Kevin Pangos gives you deep three-point shooting. Garrett Bell, tough defender, but can put it on the floor, get to the rim. My concern is playing against one of the best backcourts in all the country in Holloway and Mark Lyons. Can they hold up, especially on the road?
Terrell Holloway, third-team All-America last year, Player of the Year in the Atlantic 10, and 2 is some kind of player. Here's Lyons now at the rim, and that's Sacre. Freeze rebound and put back.
When the bigs step up to help that way, John, you have to get a weak side sag in to take that big off the offensive boards. Good read by Kenny Freeze.
Goes towards the rim, and he's fouled. Holloway charged with that one. First on Holloway, first on Xavier. Des Wells back after that 4-game suspension. Of course, the fight against Cincinnati, they ended up losing Holloway for 1 game. They lost that game. They lost Mark Lyons to suspension for 2 games. Overall, Xavier went 1-3 in those 4 games.
I spoke with Holloway today about the importance of Desmond Wells. He told me that Desmond Wells brings an edge to this basketball club defensively. He's explosive out in transition, and they've really missed him, particularly on the defensive end.
Well, you saw Chris Mack in his 3rd year, and I think he's very confident about what's going to happen going forward with his team. And Holloway as well, echoing that confidence.
The issue is, can they get that nasty edge back? Not with elbows and fists, but with good, strong defense and rebounding the basketball.
He's squaring up on Harris, has a size advantage. Holloway is fouled, and they're going to stay on the floor. For Gonzaga, Mark Few, his 13th season as the head coach of the Zags, and 2nd in coaching, minimum 5 seasons in active winning percentage. Only Roy Williams is better, and what an amazing job that he has done. They won 24 games in each of their last 14 seasons. Holloway, or I should say Lyons, at the rim, couldn't hit. Let's see what we have right here. They get a foul on Lyons. So number 1 on Lyons, the junior from Schenectady to New York.
They can't afford for either Holloway nor Mark Lyons to get into foul trouble, because those 2 guys really fuel their offense.
Mike Hart, a walk-on. Gritty type of player. Kind of made the team in open tryouts. Pangos now, finds Hart, and buries a jumper.
Something that they worked on, trying to drag that big man across on the ball screen and looking for the kickback.
And Hart fouls Freeze. Did a good job setting this up for Hart.
Watch the nice ball screen by Robert Zachary, and then you have to dump in and help here, and that leaves that wide open jump shot open from the wing. That'll be available all night long because of the aggressiveness with Gonzaga's, or with Xavier's defense.
Lyons. And Harris the rebound. Pangos looking to push as Wells went down. Bell let it taken away by Lyons. Walker. And they say offensive foul.
one of the concerns going into this game for Mark Few is could they get back and prevent this team from exploding in transition. Guietti did a terrific job of getting back and getting established and absorbing that charge.
Guy Landretti with his feet outside that restricted area. Harris facing up.
Got away with the walk there, John Shambi.
Out of bounds, it'll stay with the Zags. Yeah, the fans wanted that call. Elias Harris, the junior from Germany, in much better shape this year. Last season, a bit of a disappointment, although he was not entirely healthy.
Shoulder injury, Achilles strain, just not quite himself. And I'll tell you, John, for those guys who go and play all summer long games, you don't get any better. You get better when you're working on your fundamentals in the gym daily. He did that this summer, and I think that's been the difference in his game so far.
And he can do that as well as hit the glass. Steps out, and Gonzaga on an 8-0 run.
They were concerned about the foot speed, particularly with Mark Lyons getting to the basket. So far in this game, the Zags have done a great job of getting into that painted area off the bounce.
Bell on Holloway. Gary Bell Jr. knocked it away, and it ends up with Sacre.
The best perimeter defender for the Zags is guarding to Holloway. And that's Gary Bell Jr.
Wells loses the basketball, but it'll stay with Xavier.
We talked about Elias Harris working on his game during the summers. He's so good down in the box area. Quick first step, but the area he's greatly improved is his perimeter jump shot, as you saw there.
Back here at Cintas Center, Gonzaga 10, Xavier 6. John Shambi, LaFonso Ellis, Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your time. And here tonight, great matchup. The Xavier Musketeers, of course, with that brawl against Cincinnati. And well, the past 4 games, 1-3, but finally now everybody's back.
They've lost their edge defensively, John, and that's one of the things that they're really going to have to work on. With Dez being out of the lineup, it took away their intensity defensively. He's explosive in transition. With him back now on the floor, now it's a matter of developing that chemistry once again that they had before the suspensions.
Yeah, guarding people a big problem. Again, the numbers averaged allowing about a dozen more points per game over this 4-game stretch, and shooting percentage allowed went up about 10%. So now Wells is back, and a guy who's athletic, explosive, and you talk about at 6'5", 215, that is not the body of an 18-year-old.
Used to be a defensive back in our day, John.
Yep. Yeah, Tu Holloway said that. I said, man, he's pretty strong. He said, yeah, it looks like he should be in the NFL. Lyons now, quick to the rim, and it rolls in. He wanted the foul.
At times, when Gonzaga shows on the outside, especially with their bigs, there'll be mismatches with the guards. Mark Lyons read that mismatch with Robert Sacre and did what you should do, put your head down and get to the rim.
Sacre was looking for Bell with a backdoor cut.
I think the Zags got to find a way to get the basketball into Robert Sacre. He's so good down in that low post area.
Bell can't hit, and there's Walker with the board. Holloway kicks to the corner. And Walker rebounds the Wells miss. Travis Taylor, the transfer from Monmouth, is checked in, sets a screen. Lyons. Mark Lyons, the junior, off to a good start tonight.
Have to pick him up and find him. He's 41% from the three-point line.
And Gonzaga back the other way with Elias Harris.
Gonzaga had some really good success here so far in this game with putting it on the deck and getting to the rim.
Lyons again. Wells came flying in, and he's charged with the foul.
Mark Lyons is a very balanced basketball player. He has a high motor, really wants to get to the rim on anyone who's out there, whether it be a guard or a big man. But where he's grown in his game, John, is he's really worked on his range and is comfortable shooting from deep. Holloway is always looking for him off dribble penetration.
The Lions and Holloway are very close, practice together a lot. There's a friendly competition between the two of them as well. Eddie pulls up. Eddie, offensive rebound, goes right at the rim and throws it down.
Eddie's one of the most athletic players on this Gonzaga team. Can really finish when he gets in the painted area. When I talked to Chris Mack before this game, he wanted to run multiple ball screens in their sets to try to get Gonzaga's bigs moving around to create some angles to get to the basket.
Holloway scoops and one. You know, you use the word to describe him, creative, and you saw it right there.
To Holloway, he's just so good off the bounce, and because of his balanced game, John, you have to respect his jump shot. And just when you come closer, he's able to get to the rim. We talked about Eddie's influence on this team. He's athletic. He's really learning to play and getting comfortable out there on the floor. But when you can bring that kind of athleticism to an already good Gonzaga team, it makes them a much deeper team to be able to defend.
Gonzaga by one as Holloway will try and complete the three-point play. I mentioned the competition between Holloway and Mark Lyons, and reporter asked Holloway, who wins in a game of horse between you two? And he said, well, is there dunking? He said, because if there's no dunking, then I win. And Mark Lyons responded, yeah, he can't jump over a credit card. Dogging his buddy out. Two outstanding players, one of the top backboards in the entire nation. And Harris is fouled on the floor. Well, Tuesday night coverage of college basketball continues. A pair of conference matchups on ESPN2 and ESPNU. Number 17 Michigan State against number 11 Wisconsin, and then number 4 Louisville will take on St. John's. 7 Eastern, both of them, ESPN2 and ESPNU.
Yeah, Draymond Green is just outstanding, John. He's the best passing big man in all the nation, but he's starting to get some support now from their front line with Nix, who's able to catch it down on the low block area and score, something that he hasn't had in his last 2 years.
Pangos working on D. Davis as Holloway sits with 2 fouls. Harris, and they get him for the travel.
Without Robert Sacre in the game, they're going to look to try to get Elias Harris touches in the post area, but because he's such an improved shooter, John, they're able to give it to him in the elbow area, and he's able to attack from there. Watch the post up for Kenny Freeze if they can get it there. Gonzaga doing a really good job of pressuring the basketball, making those passing angles a lot longer.
Freeze going to work against Dower. Harris the board.
Kenny Freeze really wants to get over the left shoulder, John, not the right, when he struggles when he's going over his right, but shoots a high percentage when he's shooting that hook shot over his left shoulder to the middle.
Pangos, good interception. Stepped in front. He's Carter here. Floater wouldn't go. A one-point game as we close in on the 11-minute mark. Taylor, and that one banks home.
If he can continue to improve, he gives this Xavier team something that they don't have, which is a guy that they can throw it to consistently down the post and make a move.
Timeout on the court. And coming up, we'll talk about the consistency of these two programs. You know, when you talk about consistency, you start with Butler. Amazing work, runner-up last 2 years. Mark Few's team has won the West Coast Conference 11 consecutive seasons. And here at Xavier, whether it's Pete Gillen, Thad Matta, Sean Miller, now Chris Mack, the Musketeers, 10 appearances in the NCAA tournament in the last 11 years. Look at these three programs. They're a handful to deal with in the NCAA tournament and certainly during the regular season as well.
John, what they've been able to do is something that most non-Power 6 schools don't have. Most non-Power 6 schools are really guard-oriented, and they really break you down. They use the three-point shot in transition. These three programs have always had a balance in their backcourt and their front court. At least one front court player that can score down in the box area. Now you got to pay some attention. Now all of a sudden it opens up their three-point shooting as well. These three teams have done it like no other in non-power conferences.
Earlier this year, Butler traveled out to Spokane and lost at the Kennel to the Zags. So the three teams getting to know one another. And again, Tu Holloway on the bench right now with 2 fouls. Lions little fadeaway. That off the window wouldn't go. And it ends up with Carter. Lob. And that one ends up rolling home for DeLandrietti.
We talked about his athleticism, his explosiveness in transition. Xavier's not doing a good job of getting back and loading to the basketball, but that's what they desperately needed, is someone who can score down in the box. He's so much better over his left shoulder, is Kenny Freeze.
Now David Stockton has checked in. Stockton, of course, the son of legend John Stockton. This one goes the other way. Lions knifing his way to the rim.
Thought he should have given that one up a little sooner, but Mark Lyons, you can't take away who he is, and he attacks the basket. Does a good pass out of it to get them in transition. The Zags haven't been able to get it down to Robert Sacre early.
Eddie will try. That's way off. But Sam Dower able to pick it up. Didn't hit anything. 5 of the shot clock. Sacre. And he buries it over Freeze.
Dave, that's a big basket for Robert Sacre. He's wearing that little bandage on his right hand. Dislocated his thumb before the Air Force game.
Freeze, good seal off, and Sacre went for the steal. Yeah. The dislocated thumb still bothering him a little bit. Sacre, you can see the tape on the right hand.
Stockton's got to be ready to shoot that one when he passes it out.
A turnover, Lions, D. Davis. Stockton rips it away. They got numbers. Stockton had lost the handle, and now Sacre picks it back up. Fadeaway wouldn't go, and the rebound pulled down by Taylor.
One thing I love about Robert Sacre is he's so patient down in the box. Some big men are so quick to make their move, they turn it over. But I've been impressed with his patience.
Sacre the rebound. Feed inside, Dower +1. Sam Dower, a tough matchup at 6'9", 250, and the lefty who's been working on that right hand can be a handful.
What he does is he runs down the floor, recognizes that he has a mismatch inside with 6' D. Davis, just makes himself big, catches the basketball. He's got such soft hands around the basket.
Jeff Robinson checking in for Xavier, 6'10" junior out of Indianapolis.
Jeff Robinson is a ridiculous athlete. Sometimes kids are late bloomers, John, and I'd love to see him. If it ever comes together for him, he will be a nightmare. Explosive, can guard 4 different positions.
Already 6 lead changes, 2 ties in this one. Holloway back in with those 2 fouls.
The Zags have done a really good job defensively against the ball screen action of Xavier.
High arcing shot wouldn't go, and the rebound pulled down by the freshman Ryan Spangler. Stockton has it blocked out of bounds. 7:46 to go, first half on this New Year's Eve. We're locked up at 21. Back here at Cintas Center, tied at 21. Xavier early on. When you look at the big men, Kenny Freese is the guy that's done the most work.
6 early. Establishes himself so well on the boards, especially when you go help. But when he can get the basketball inside, especially on the left block, and get to that left shoulder, he's so effective. But I've been with his running the floor, John, and getting deep post position. When he can do that and just catch it, quickly make a move, he's awfully effective.
Kenny Freese took a step forward last year. He was able to average 12 points a game, 7 rebounds, got himself in much better shape so far this season. 9 points and 5 rebounds, but off to the good start tonight.
He's really been aggressive, and it's Robert Sacre, who we know can be the enforcer down in the painted area. So far in this first half, it's been all Kenny Freese.
Right down the 3-guard look. Pangos, Stockton, and Bell into the game. Good cut, Spangler. And a bucket for the freshman. Sam Dower with a good look right there. To Holloway, Stockton on him. This is Andre Walker, who's a senior and a transfer from Vanderbilt. Martin's 3 wouldn't go. Spangler comes down with it.
Got it.
Stockton toss it up briefly. Had Dower in the corner for a moment, but
missed him.
Yep. Pangos to Stockton, and he rains down that 3.
Terrific read from Pangos. Anytime you're driving that basketball to the baseline area, you should get a weak side baseline drift. He was able to find David Stockton over there and knocking it down for 3.
Wells the pull-up. And eventually Martin has it and kicks it out to Walker. Nicely done. And Wells is fouled.
Now Gonzaga's really good on this ball screen. Freeze this action right here after he sets that ball screen. Now you're going to see him dive to the rim. What he should get is a little help here from this guy over in the corner. He does not, and is wide open underneath. You have to take away that ball reversal to Sam Dower, and if you can do that, he's not able to see over the top. That's excellent ball screen execution by the Zags.
Freeze back in. Kenny with 6 points so far tonight. Gonzaga leading by 4, 6:10 to go first half. John Xavier, LaFonso Ellis. Happy New Year wherever you are. Wells can't rattle it home. Pangos an outstanding shooter. He had 9 3-pointers in a game earlier this year against Washington State. It was his 2nd game of the year.
He's really been my big freshman surprise this year. Plays with such confidence, and his ability to be able to stroke it from deep. Has a great feel for the game as well.
Stockton launches, gets it to go. David Stockton, his 2nd 3.
You have to be aware of knowing who to go under on screens. David Stockton, such a tremendous 3-point shooter, can't go under that ball screen against him.
Holloway has been quiet here in the early going. Walker on the baseline. Lost the ball, but he's fouled. Well, Wednesday night, coverage of college basketball continues. 2 more games on ESPN2 and ESPNU. First 7 Eastern, it's number 5 Duke taking on a tough Temple team. And again on ESPN2 right there. Then on ESPNU, it's Marquette and Georgetown, a Big East battle. 2 good games coming up on a Wednesday, ESPN2 and ESPNU.
Marquette taking one on the chin at home against Vanderbilt. That game wasn't even close against a team that had been struggling so far on the season. But I tell you, and they're playing against a very hot Georgetown team who's getting some terrific production from some young freshmen.
I saw them the other night. Very impressed with Otto Porter. No Buzz Williams team. They're going to play very hard. Pangos now. Pangos launches. Wells looking to push. And he gets bumped. He'll shoot two. Des Wells, very explosive in that painted area.
Talked to Mark Few before the basketball game. One of his areas of concern was Xavier's ability to get out in transition is so explosive, especially Des Wells. So he wanted his bigs to get back and tag him to help funnel him back towards half court to take that away. The Zags a little slow getting back there. Ryan Spangler should have come over and squeezed him, forcing him to give the basketball up.
Sacre checks back in. Dower and Spangler will grab a seat. Elias Harris also back into the game. So here's Des Wells, who played at both Hargrave Military Academy and Word of God High School in North Carolina. And Word of God High School, he was teammates with John Wall.
Can you imagine those two on the floor at the same time?
C.J. Leslie as well from NC State.
Let's transition all night long.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Nice job by Xavier taking away that high-low action.
Take away, Lions behind the back. Lions going at Pangos. Scoop wouldn't go. Here's Bell the other way. Gary Bell Jr. backing it out. Mark Few paid Bell a tremendous compliment. He said he is the most advanced defensively of any freshman I have ever had.
He understands position, where to be, and he's done a great job on Two Holloway so far. No points for Xavier's leading scorer. Sacre
is fouled, and he'll go to the line. 3:52 to go, first half, and a good one in Cincinnati. Well, here in Cincinnati, a little pre-New Year's Eve party for the Xavier fans. Happy New Year, everyone. Gonzaga and Xavier. Zags lead it by 5, 3:52 to go. This is a gorgeous facility. Xavier always tough to beat inside Cintas Center. Meanwhile, Gonzaga always willing to go on the road, play in the tough spots. Played earlier this year at Illinois, lost to the Illini. Mark Few talking to him pregame and asking him, you know, at this point you played so many tough non-conference games, you're kind of used to this. And he said, yeah, we are.
Well, you can tell even, and I was concerned about their young backcourt, but even they have all of a sudden been hardened by their early experiences. I mean, that Illinois game was a fantastic game to watch, and they just seem to be very settled on the road.
You see that non-conference schedule. And again, more of them than not at home. But they play a difficult non-conference schedule. Right now on the road, leading by 6 here at Xavier.
Then a 1-2-2 full-court press here. They did this against Illinois when they were down 10 to try to get back in the basketball game, trying to disrupt Xavier's rhythm.
Redford is checked in for Xavier. Very good shooter. Freeze inside, fading away, and that'll rattle home. Freeze with 8.
He's a different ball player when he's aggressive, when he catches the basketball down in the painted area, and he's been that for Xavier here in the first half.
Out of bounds. And right now, Frank Harvey and Mike Peterson having a conversation. Darren White comes over. And they're going to say Xavier basketball.
Hey, John, this Gonzaga team is the best offensive rebounding team in the West Coast Conference. They've come up with 7 offensive rebounds here in the first half for 13 points, and that's really been the difference in this game so far.
He's popping out, hands off to Wells. Redford has not shot it well from 3 this year, but again, career, he's been tremendous. And there's Taylor, hangs and gets fouled, and the transfer from Monmouth will go to the line.
Well, Gonzaga came back down in this 1-2-2 zone, and if you can catch it in this area, you can get it here, or skip pass across. They were able to find them underneath. That's really good half-court execution against the zone by Xavier.
Foul on Elias Harris. That's his second. Team foul number 7. 17 fouls on Xavier. Harris sits. Dower checks back in. Wells and Redford will go to the bench. This is Travis Taylor, who in 2 years at Monmouth was their leading scorer. He's a sophomore, 17.8 points a game and 7.5 rebounds. And he has helped out their second leading rebounder on the team.
He's a terrific rebounder, but what he brings to this team is energy and size, something that they desperately need across their front line.
Well, there's Taylor pulling down a board. Davis gets it to Lyons. Oof. Off the bounce, it'll go down.
How about the maturity of Mark Lyons? Last year, he would have run that defensive player over, but he's playing with such terrific composure. Mark Lyons getting it done.
Tied at 30, 2:34 to go here first half, and Mark Lyons able to get stuff done off the dribble, and a nice feed from D. Davis.
He was able to give it to him early, and he's able to just find a little gap into that area. And if he can get in there, he's explosive and able to get to the rim. But the area of growth for him, John, is the poise to be able to recognize when to stop and pop. Good read there by Mark Lyons.
Lyons out on the freshman Bell. Freeze pops out.
John, they've just not been able to get it inside to Robert Sacre consistently, and that's really about 40% of their offense.
Dower buries a 3. Sam Dower with a 3-pointer. Now, he doesn't do that a lot, but he's made every one he's taken this year. He's 3 for 3.
You have to respect his ability to shoot, and that allows them to play some high-low with Robert Sacre, because you cannot sag off of Sam Dower, or he'll do just that. I'd like to see Xavier go back to Kenny Freeze here. He's gotten off to a good start. He's active. He wants the basketball, something that he hasn't done consistently throughout the year.
And they get an offensive foul, and that one on Travis Taylor. Here's Dower.
Sam Dower. I mean, you got to close him out and force him to put the basketball on the floor. The closeout was with the hand down. Mark Jackson, hand down, man down, splash.
Former ESPN colleague, now the head man at Golden State.
Got their first win this week. Mark Jackson.
Dower on the bounce. And now it's D. Davis. Lyons creating, and he ends up getting fouled. Gonzaga by 3. And coming up Tuesday night, coverage of college basketball continues. A pair of games on ESPN2 and ESPNU. 7 Eastern on ESPN2, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and then 7 o'clock on ESPNU. It's Louisville and St. John's. How about Wisconsin today? Knocked off by Iowa.
Fran McCaffrey's group has had a really tough time this year just trying to find their identity. They're very young. Melson Brasaba hasn't been what he was last year. He's trying to find himself. That's a big win for the Iowa Hawkeyes today.
So the Hawkeyes get the win. Indiana does it again. Knockoff number 2. They'd already beaten #1 Kentucky. And how about Harvard? You know, you talk about a Crimson team and the job that Tommy Amaker has done, but they played a tough schedule and they've handled themselves very well.
So they get a big win today, and then they beat Florida State earlier in the year. Tommy Amaker, is good to see, one of the great stories in college basketball this year.
Davis takes it away. High arcing jumper wouldn't go. And that one out of bounds. And will go to Gonzaga.
I was about to pop my umbrella. That one brought a little rain there, buddy.
D. Davis, the ceiling scraper. Davis has played extremely well. Chris Mack said the lone bright spot in Hawaii where they went 1 and 2 was D. Davis, who almost came up with a steal, and then it's over and back.
They're really about his leadership at the point guard position. He's a pure point guard. Tu Holloway is the point guard for this team, but Tu Holloway is a scoring guard. But their excitement for D. Davis is just his ability to be able to guard the basketball, as you saw in that possession, but he runs the team efficiently as well.
Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference. Xavier out of the A-10. Now, the A-10 and non-power 6 league, but almost always a multiple bid league. Rick Majerus has St. Louis off to a great start. Xavier obviously the favorite, and so the question is, who else?
I think it's clearly Temple. Temple's just quietly just kind of hanging around there, and as they get healthy, Michael Eric has been out with a knee injury. As he gets back into the fold, now they have that legitimate inside-outside that we talk about all the time with the elite non-power schools. And with Ramon Moore, his ability to stick it from outside and get to the rim along with Lon Fernandez, you're talking about a team that could compete for the A-10 title.
I mean, Chris Mack playing in a league this year, I think that legitimately could be a 3-bid league, and we've seen it before from the Atlantic 10. And you'd wonder as well if the same holds true for the West Coast Conference, especially with the addition of BYU. 44.1 seconds to go here in the first half. Good one from Cintas Center. John Shambi, LaFonso Ellis. Gonzaga by a deuce. Tu Holloway with 4 points.
Tu loves to have the basketball in his hands. His two weapons out there on the floor now are Mark Lyons and watch for Brad Redford. Sometimes you come help off of him. He's a tremendous three-point shooter. There it is.
Redford, there he is. And Gonzaga will hold for the last shot.
For a little high ball screen action with Pangos. See if he can turn the corner.
Off the window and good. Holloway can't get it off, and Gonzaga will take a 4-point lead to the break. Good half for Kenny Freese, 8 points at the break, but his Musketeers trail it by 4. Time now to send it back to the studio. It's our halftime report. Ryan Berg, Doug Gottlieb, Andy Katz. Happy New Year, fellas. Happy holidays, everybody. Back inside Cintas Center. And at the break, it is Gonzaga by 4. Hi, folks. Happy New Year. John Shambi, LaFonso Ellis. Well, this game featured 3 ties, 7 different lead changes. So back and forth we go. But for Gonzaga, the difference, at least so far, really good bench play.
When your leading scorers, Robert Sacre and Kevin Pangos, are struggling at 2 for 8 from the floor, you have to be able to generate points from somewhere, and their bench has been outstanding. David Stockton has come in, and usually, as he does, tempers this team, has been able to get a couple big baskets from 3. Sam Dower, very versatile big. He can score down in the box, but an improved area of his game, he's been able to knock down some 3-point shots. How about 100% from the 3-point line for the big man, Sam Dower?
Take that, huh? Andre Walker and the Musketeers trailing at the half. And it's Gonzaga basketball to start the second 20 minutes. And again, remember the Musketeers, that fight against Cincinnati. After that game, they were 8-0. They've gone 1-3 since.
just haven't had that same defensive intensity and toughness that they had before.
Harris in close, couldn't finish, and then almost picked up a cheap foul on Freeze.
I'd like to see Xavier start this second half out with getting it into Kenny Freeze. He's been so active and wanting the basketball down in the post. Here he goes.
Freeze banks on Sacre, and a foul down low. That'll be on Hart. Well, stats in the first half pretty close. Gonzaga, though, nailing 5 3-pointers, including a couple by David Stockton and a big rebounding advantage.
They've been really able to get to the offensive glass and second chance opportunities have the Zags.
Hart now picked up his 3rd foul moments ago. Mangos really hasn't gotten loose. With 4 points. Nice reverse layup by Harris. They used the rim to protect himself.
He's got such a quick first step.
Holloway the kick out and a turnover.
His first step is one of the best by any bigs that I've seen in the country. And once he gets that shoulder by you, it's curtains. It's a foul or a score.
Mangos their leading scorer on the season, and again, only a freshman. Harris, little jab step. Sacre, the follow wouldn't go, and Freeze pulls it down.
Sacre was open on that last possession. He's starting to get a little frustrated that his guards aren't able to get it inside. The guards from Xavier doing a really good job of good ball pressure, taking away the angles.
Sacre rebounds, the Lions miss. Holloway has not been all that involved offensively for the Musketeers.
He's trying to become more of a facilitator than being who he really is, which is a tough scorer. But as this game gets down in the waning parts of the second half, watch him start to be more aggressive offensively. But that's going to have to start now, John. They're down 6.
Into Freeze, who banks it in.
Andre Walker, just a valuable pickup for the Xavier team, can do so many things.
Hart takes it away as Wells and Bell plus the foul. Gary Bell Jr. will go to the line. And Lions went down hard.
Desmond Wells went in there and felt he was fouled, and because he didn't sprint back, now the Zags have numbers. Mark Lyons trying his best to get good position, but didn't quite get there soon enough. It's a good call by the baseline ref.
Gary Bell Jr. at the line. We talked about how much Mark Few likes him defensively. He had a number of offers from Pac-12 schools, but ultimately chose. And you know, one of the things he said, look, we're on TV all the time winning games. I mean, he'll get as much exposure playing for Gonzaga as probably any Pac-12 school.
I think he picked the right fit for him. I mean, he's able to come off the bench early, but now being inserted in the starting lineup, an opportunity to guard one of the best point guards in all the country, and has done a really good job against Holloway so far in this game.
Attempted feed for Harris, and that's a turnover.
John, when Xavier's bringing that ball up the floor, they've got to get it to Holloway early so he can try to attack. Everything that he's getting is coming out of the half-court set.
Sacre fought for the rebound, but it ends up staying with Xavier. Robert Sacre, talk about a guy in unbelievable shape. Chris Mack was joking about, you know, the body and the fitness. He said at the press conference yesterday, he feels like if you pulled off the face that wires would come out, kind of like the Terminator RoboCop thing.
He's got a terrific sense of humor. You and he have been going back and forth with your little name the college of a particular athlete. And I tell you what, that kid's pretty savvy.
He's good.
He's the jokester on that team. Keeps everyone loose.
Feed underneath. Taylor on the baseline, banks it in. Gonzaga by 5. And Sacre tries for Harris, overthrew him. Walker comes up with it. Andre Walker, you saw him handling there, and he can handle the basketball. And Vanderbilt at times use him to play some point. They can use him that way with Xavier. As Holloway fading back, banks at home.
His ability to find the rim is just uncanny.
And underneath, they get a foul. And a timeout on the court.
Holloway's always looking for his angles to try to impact this basketball club, but he's such a well-rounded player, can pass it, but where he's at his best is when he's in attack mode. Holloway, wake it up.
Now back here in the Queen City on the Ohio River, it's the Belle of Cincinnati. And at Cintas Center, it's Gonzaga leading Xavier by 3. We talk about Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference. BYU, LaFonso Ellis has been added. That'll change things up.
A big dog has just come to the party in BYU, and we know what they brought to the basketball floor. They bring Hartsock back this year to give them some size and some skill on the inside. But can you imagine all of the WCC teams who are used to playing in front of 3,000, maybe 4,000, all of a sudden going into a 22,000 seat arena? Not to mention there's about 4,500 feet in altitude, a certain advantage that BYU can take advantage of.
Pete Davis with the rebound, pushes the other way. And Martin off the mark.
I tell you, they got a rude welcoming last night. BYU. St. Mary's, boy, they were really, really good. Ran them off their home floor.
And he goes, dribbles around, freeze. And Hart finds Sacre, faces up. And now the jump hook. That wouldn't go. Hart, there he is. Chris Mack was warning his team about how aggressive Hart is on the boards. Push up ahead, and it's to Holloway. And he'll back it out. Holloway, only 6 points in the game.
A lot of that has been Gary Bell Jr. He's not giving him any space to breathe. And the shot that he did make a few possessions ago was a challenge shot over 2 people. One of the keys to this game for Xavier was to be able to defend Robert Sacre, to keep him from getting deep post touches. Watch when he catches the basketball here, how much attention he gets. A little dig down by Davis prevents him from being able to make that quick move. He wants to bump you with that left shoulder to stabilize you and freeze you to get it over the top. So far in this game, Xavier's done a terrific job of having people around him and keeping him uncomfortable in the box.
Sacre will grab a C. 3 points, 5 rebounds for the 5th-year senior from Vancouver, Canada. This is 5th-year senior Andre Walker. Battled through injury during his time at Vanderbilt. He's a grad student now. Holloway picks the pocket of Stockton and banks it home. And Xavier takes the lead.
John, that's that experience factor. Now all of a sudden, Holloway takes a dig at the basketball as well. So we were curious if the lack of experience of Gonzaga's backcourt would become an issue because of the veteran leadership and the tenaciousness of the backcourt of Xavier.
Dower with the jumper answers. Holloway lost the handle momentarily. Justin Martin was the guy that started for Wells while he was out. And they get a foul on the floor. That'll be Sam Dower.
We were curious about what it would look like between these 2 backcourts going at it. One young, the other one a veteran backcourt. Holloway feels he can pick David Stockton's pocket. And so it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive he and Mark Lyons are against the backcourt of Gonzaga.
Stockton tracks down the Lions miss. Dower the fadeaway. Oh, soft touch. Sam Dower. He's a tough matchup. He's a little quicker than Sacre is.
Well, the beauty of it too, John, is he was able to fake to the middle and fade away from the double team that was coming. Good read there by Sam Dower.
Holloway. Dower the board. Holloway a steal. And one. To Holloway. What a play. Defense to offense, absorbs the contact, and a chance at a three-point play.
Now all of a sudden there's a little blood in the water. Holloway thinks that he can take the basketball from David Stockton. David's going to have to be tougher with that basketball and know that Two's going to try to steal it. We said going to break that Holloway he was a little quiet in the first half, John, but now all of a sudden he's come to join the party. Aggressive defensively is Holloway.
Third-team All-America last year. Only 4 first-half points. But now 7 in the second half, and he's got 11.
John, I think at times he takes too long. He's trying to let the offense develop, and I think it takes too long to enter the game, but he's here now at a time where his team really needs him to score the rock.
Dower, another jumper. Sam Dower having a night. Freeze loses the ball, and eventually Marquise Carter tracks it down. Oh, what a block by Justin Martin. Lions weaving through traffic, and he'll shoot 2.
How about this Xavier team? We talked about for them to reestablish themselves, they have to get their toughness back, their swagger. In transition, what looked to be an easy layup, Justin Martin comes out of nowhere, not giving up on the play. And that's the kind of toughness that Coach Mack is looking for from this team.
Third foul on Dower. Mike Hart also with 3. Meanwhile, Travis Taylor with 3 for Xavier.
I was curious why they gave Mark Lyons the nickname Cheeks. They told me that he had some really big chunky cheeks when he was a kid, so they gave him the name Cheeks, but I noticed that it was spelled with a Z instead of an S. He said the S was pretty feminine, so he wanted it to be a Z. I like that, Fonz with a Z.
And Dower throws it away as Guy Landry-Eddy went the opposite direction. 1-point game here in Cincinnati. Back at Cintas Center, it's Gonzaga by a point. Holloway pretty quiet in the first half, but he's gotten going since the break.
Well, he told me today that at times he's just not being aggressive, but he needs to really impose his will on this game. He's done it on the defensive end to get him going. He's made some really tough shots, and the genius of Holloway is he understands the game, and he can make tough shots when 2 and 3 people are hanging on him. He's really impacted this game in the second half.
Well, he leads them in scoring and in assists. And as well, he plays about 37 minutes a game.
I mean, the endurance, I was looking at him today, he was standing talking to me, and he's in outstanding shape. Spends a lot of time on the floor. In fact, Chris Mack said that sometimes when he's up working in his office, he just keeps his head down when he hears the basketball bouncing early in the morning because he knows it's Holloway.
Freeze with the miss.
Sam Dower's had a pretty good second half, too. Kenny Freeze is going to have to get up close to him and challenge him to make him put the basketball on the floor. Too good of a jump shooter, Sam Dower.
We get the foul on Justin Martin. He's got 2. Carter can't hit in close. Offensive rebound. He needs some help and finds it, Elias Harris.
Kenny Freeze doesn't get enough credit for how he alters shots inside.
And Carter is fouled there as Martin gets him. Martin now with 3. Harris inside, just too close to the rim, and lays it in.
The back screen got caught up on that screen, Andre Walker, which created that lane. That's how he got so wide open.
Freeze got good position.
So much better when he can catch that basketball with the foot in the lane and just make a move. Kenny Freeze has been outstanding tonight.
Holloway almost took it from Carter. Carter, a senior, former junior college transfer. Dower the pull-up. And an air ball. Davis.
I'd like to see D. Davis, though he's wide open on that shot, put that basketball on the floor, get in the gaps, try to draw, makes the extra pass or the score from 15.
Freeze fouls Dower. And the lefty will go to the line and shoot 2.
Sam Dower, that's a little too deep for Kenny Freeze. Kenny doing a pretty good job of walling. I thought they're saying he roofed him. I thought he had his hand straight up in the air. I thought that was pretty good defensive play.
Dower's had himself quite a game. Now 13 points for the sophomore from Minnesota. Look at that. The bench has actually done more scoring tonight for the Zags.
They've been terrific. They had 18 of the total 35 points in the first half.
Good activity by Elias Harris, and a new possession for Gonzaga. And Dower was mad at himself. He had an opening, didn't take it. Lefty spins, uses the window, and it's good. 15 for Sam Dower.
That's a tough shot. That's 4 feet off of the post area. Terrific footwork by Sam Dower.
They're coming off 15 points, 5 boards against Portland. Freeze couldn't hit, and Pangos back in the game, pushing it the other way. Dower gets another. Perfect on the season from 3. Sam Dower, 2 for 2 tonight, 4 for 4 in the season. He's got 18.
That's a tough matchup for Kenny Freeze because you're taught as a big to run back to the painted area. Sam Dower is just coming down in the secondary break and lining that 3-point shot up from the top. Nice.
And Wells answers with a triple.
Sam Dower's been outstanding. He's been able to knock down some open shots. That's the versatility of this big. They're looking to try to find him in transition. He's knocking down 3-point shots, still perfect from 3. Sam Dower is going to work.
All right, Ryan, thanks very much. New Year's Eve here in Cincinnati. Happy New Year, everybody. Gonzaga by 4 on the road. 9:09 to go in this one. Sam Dower, LaFonso Ellis has been great off the bench. Holloway has come to life in the second half.
Sam Dower's shown us a little bit of everything. Footwork down on the box, ability to shoot it from 3, mid-range game. Is there anything that he can't do? It's the Sam Dower show, John Shambi.
Yeah, for sure tonight. That's been the case. 18 points and 8 rebounds. Angles kicks to Carter, who gets into the lane. And Holloway tracks it down.
Ill-advised pass to Holloway. Usually doesn't make a lot of errors, but he didn't see Marquise Carter there underneath.
Carter actually the newcomer of the year last year. Easy look, Sacre, the two-handed stuff.
He may be the best guy in the country at making himself big in the post.
Wells, oh, athletic move. Desmond Wells.
Every good team has one of those erratic guys who you just don't know what he's going to do. For this Xavier team, it's Desmond Wells. Explosive athlete.
Harris will try a three and buries it. Elias Harris can do damage inside, and he'll also step out and knock that down. It doesn't for Harris. Wells not able to answer. Rebound Sacre.
And that's really not Xavier's game. They're not a bad three-point shooting team at 36% from the field, but where they want to get you is ball screening, getting it into Kenny Freeze, and letting their guards attack.
And Pangos is fouled.
Robert Sacre's been quiet in this game, but when he can get in that painted area, he knows what to do with it. The two-hand flush.
All right, Ryan, and here at Xavier, we go over LaFonso's 2011 award winners. And you got Jared Sullinger as your player of the year. Take us through the rest.
Coach of the year, Tommy Amaker. The job that he's done with this team, they've gotten terrific wins against Florida State. They won the day, doing a terrific job. Freshman of the year, Anthony Davis. I mean, have you seen the length on this kid? His versatility, ability to get up and down the floor and finish around the rim. And is there a better team in the country than Syracuse? They may be the deepest team in the entire country. They lead the country in bench points. Deion Waiters getting it done off the bench for Syracuse.
State as well, one of the remaining unbeatens. Gary Bell Jr. back in the game as he feeds Sacre. Sacre banging underneath, jump hook is short. And it ends up with two Holloway. Under 7 to go in this one. Gonzaga by 7.
Good decision by Kenny Freeze.
Lions into the paint, knifing to the rim. Nicely done.
His patience coming off the ball screen, letting it develop when the big shows, and then once the big releases, he explodes through the gap.
Landry Eddy. All over Gary Bell Jr. Pangos a launch. Look at Harris, big offensive rebound. That's huge. Gonzaga has won the battle of the boards here in this one.
12 offensive rebounds in this game.
Harris a three. And Walker pulls it down.
It's a good defensive possession by Xavier. Really guarding all that ball screen action from Gonzaga really well. The only thing that hurt him was that extra possession.
Lions off the mark. Great job. Taylor flying in for the board. Holloway slipped down, lost it. Pangos scoops it in. That's a tough play. Lions all over him.
He's looking at the referee feeling like he's getting bumped as he's coming off that screen, but he's just going to have to be a little stronger with the basketball because that's a man guarding him as a freshman. Gary Bell Jr. is a big boy.
Freeze and Sacre continue to battle underneath.
Sacre did a really good job there of playing him on the high side, and even when they tried to go to high-low action, he was in perfect position.
Freeze goes left hand. Out of bounds off Elias Harris. Tuesday night coverage of college basketball continues. A pair of conference matchups. ESPN 2 at 7 Eastern in the Big Ten. It's number 17 Michigan State, number 11 Wisconsin. ESPN U 7 Eastern. It's number 4 Louisville and St. John's. Rick Pitino's team off to the perfect start, and now they've dropped 2 in a row. Georgetown And that was on Wednesday, and then today losing at Kentucky.
Yeah, they're playing against superior competition right now. But when you consider all the injuries that they've had, John, he's a Coach of the Year candidate for sure.
Sacre fouls Lyons. Mark Lyons will shoot 2. It's the second on Sacre. 16 fouls on each side. Lyons, good free throw shooter at 71%.
Been really just pleased with his progress, John. I mean, a guy who has a tremendous motor, at times would play out of control during his career. Now all of a sudden he's reading, making great decisions. Even that play, hesitated, froze the big, and attacking the baseline to give himself an opportunity for 2 free throws.
And now the freshman D. Davis will check back in. Freshman out of Bloomington, Indiana. Lyons will sit.
With D in the game, because of his quickness, they'll try to really get into the basketball. So watch to see if he or Holloway can get a couple steals here.
Got to figure closing in on 4 that the rest for Lyons won't be very long. Bell inside, use the window, offensive putback for Bell. Nobody blocked out. Holloway a pull-up. And Pangos tracks it down.
Now that's a good shot for Holloway, but at times if you take those, John, too early, you don't have your offensive rebounders in place. And they could use a bucket here. Gonzaga is so patient offensively, looking for the first mistake you make, and then they attack.
Dower another 3, and he misses this time. First time for everything. As Dower can't knock it down. He's had quite a night. 18 points for the sophomore out of Minnesota.
John, I think with 3 minutes to go, I think you got to get Mark Lyons back in this game right away, down 7.
Davis buries a huge 3. That was monstrous.
I mean, for a kid who only shoots 26% from the three-point line, that was a big basket from the young freshman.
4-point game back here at Cintas Center, and LaFonso Ellis. Xavier really needed a bucket, and the freshman came through.
D. Davis is a very confident play, but nice read on the strong side of the floor. Recognized the double team and could find D. Davis over in the corner. Only a 26% three-point shooter, but sometimes your confidence overrides your ability. Certainly happened there with D. Davis.
And again, Chris Mack saying the trip to Hawaii, where they went 1 and 2 and lost to Hawaii with both Lyons and Holloway in the lineup. Chris Mack said D. Davis was the lone bright spot out there.
John, the Zags with essentially 3 guards on the floor right now. All can handle the basketball. So if pressure comes from Xavier, it's going to be really difficult to force them to turn it over. Nice read.
Sacre couldn't find the handle. Shot clock winding down. Pangos a pull-up. Oh, what a shot. The freshman buries it.
We talked about could they handle the pressure, the inexperienced backcourt of Xavier, forgive me, of Gonzaga, and they've really answered the bell in this second half. How about Kevin Pangos, the freshman, catches the basketball when they need a big basket, the crossover to get some space. The son of a coach knocks it down.
Now here in Cincinnati, Cintas Center, Gonzaga on the road leading Xavier by 7. What a shot by the freshman. Kevin Pangos is their leading scorer on the season. He's got only 9 in this one, but hit a huge 3. We mentioned he hit 9 3-pointers in a game, the second game of the year against Washington State. And the reporters asked him, so was your phone blowing up? Did you get a ton of messages? And he said, no, I forgot to pay my bill and my phone was off. So I didn't get any of the texts or the calls. He got all the messages from Facebook and Twitter. Nothing on the phone. Got to pay that bill. Sacre backs it back out and now calls timeout. And we let you know Wednesday night coverage of college hoops continues on ESPN2 and ESPNU. First, it'll be number 5 Duke taking on Temple on ESPN2 7 Eastern, and over on the U, number 13 Marquette, number 12 Georgetown in a Big East battle. It's Wednesday night on the 2 and on the U. Sam Dower, he has been tremendous off the bench, inside and outside.
Celebrating New Year's early, going to the party. It's been the Sam Dower show, and he's done it in every way, John. He's made some tough baskets out in the mid-range area. He's knocked down three-point shots. And on a night where Robert Sacre couldn't quite get it going, Kevin Pangos has been quiet until that three. Sam Dower has come in this basketball game and really impacted the game. The entire bench for Gonzaga has been exceptional tonight. How about 30 bench points for Gonzaga? They've also controlled the offensive board. 14 offensive rebounds for 17 points.
Pangos can't hit. And Bell not able to save Xavier basketball. Checks back in. And again, coming up next year on ESPN2, Pac-12 battle, it's Oregon and Washington. Lions kicks to Holloway. Can't get it to go. And Walker, big offensive rebound. Lions ball fake. Three. Sacre boards, and that's a big miss.
John, their team who shoots about 36% from the three-point line, 3 of 16 tonight. The three-point line has really let them down. John, but you got to credit Gonzaga's defense. Their ball screen defense has been exceptional. Matu Holloway of Mark Lyons is coming off that ball screen after a hard hedge. The weak side guard is just standing there, kind of the Kobe concept defensively at the elbow, keeping them from getting deep penetration down the lane.
You know, for those 4 games, we gave you the contrast where Xavier went 1 and 3 during that period of suspensions. Wells missed all 4. Holloway missed 1. Lions 2. But defense was the issue. Tonight, it really feels like the offense has been more of the problem. Holloway. And now Walker a jumper. Off the window and good. Timeout Xavier. 5-point game. Timeout in the court. Back to the studio. We check in with Ryan Burr.
All right, John, just a reminder, coming up next, less than 10 minutes from now, we head to the Pac-12. Both Oregon and Washington, both 1-0 in conference play. We will head there next, guys.
All right, Ryan, here, under a minute to go. And Chris Mack drawing up what he wants done defensively. Possession arrow favors the home team, Xavier. Gonzaga with 3 timeouts. Both teams will be shooting 1 and 1.
John, one of the problems that really a conundrum for Xavier is with this lineup that Gonzaga has on the floor. They have 3 point guards really out on the floor with Stockton, with Pangos, and of course with Gary Bell Jr. And so to speed them up and try to get turnovers is going to be near impossible. So you're going to have to play the foul game at some point. Elias Harris is a good guy to foul, only 60% from the free throw line. But he's on the bench right now.
They get it into Pangos.
Not a guy you want to foul.
85%. And they get over and back. Big turnover.
I'll shield it from that one, John, because as you know, the ball can come over, but if your feet are still behind, you're still considered in the backcourt. That's a tough one. John, for Xavier, if they get into their ball screen action, whoever sets the ball screen that's on that same side as the guy who's open, they have to look for the throwback. They'll get some open looks if they can do it.
Holloway. That was from deep, and Walker fouls Dower.
Tell you what, though, how many times in his career have we seen him make that shot? We saw him hit a big one against Purdue, and so that's a shot that he's definitely capable of making. But that's really been the story for Xavier tonight. Their offense just has not been in sync. They've been able to get some open looks and not been able to knock it down. I feel like defense has been just okay, good enough to be able to win, but their offense has really let them down.
Dower with 19 points, a career-high 9 rebounds in this game. And 19 points representing a season high.
John, we heard so much about Gonzaga. The concerns that everyone had about this team coming in was their backcourt play. I'd say early in this season, their backcourt has really answered the bell. Pangos has been outstanding. Gary Bell Jr. has been exceptional.
Holloway going to work against Hart, and one. Man, he is special. Hart did about everything he could. Stayed with him.
Mark Few is playing the possession game. Defensively, he has his best defenders on the floor, which would include Mike Hart. And now he's putting his offensive guys back in, because as good as David Stockton can be offensively, certain teams have been able to take advantage of him on the defensive end. So Coach Mark Few yet again showing his brilliance in substitutions.
Big miss right there. And then Pangos gets fouled. To Holloway, only 4 points in the first half, 9 in the second half, but was not able to complete that three-point play.
An 84% free throw shooter, doesn't miss very many. John, I was wondering if there would be a little bit of a hangover effect from that whole fight with Cincinnati, them having one out of three of their last games, and they've just not. You could see glimpses of what they were, but they've not been able to quite put it together. And I'm wondering if there's an emotional cloud still hanging over this team that they're going to have to battle through.
I mean, look, they participated in it, helped create it, but I do think that the media aspect has to factor in. I mean, you're in a position right now where if you're Xavier nationally, you're still in a stretch where if you hear the Xavier name, not far behind is going to be mentioned the fight.
And especially when you see the way Holloway has played. He's such a confident basketball player, but I've watched his body language tonight. At times, he's been really down, and that's not Holloway.
Yeah, I mean, he almost feels as if he's playing under the weather, like he's sick or something, because he hasn't brought the energy that you're quite used to seeing from him. Not as assertive.
Yeah. Especially in crucial points of the game, because he's a guy who wants the basketball in his hands. And not that he's shied away from it, but the energy that we're used to seeing from Holloway has not been there consistently tonight.
Well, we talked about the change as far as the defensive end. And tonight, that trend continuing. Gonzaga at 44%. And that was really the big switch after going 8-0, holding the opposition at 35% and 61 points a game. The shift has been at the defensive end. And that trend is continued. Again, I would still say that tonight, shooting 41% from the floor, including 3 of 18 from 3, has been a big part of the reason why. They've had a difficult time. Xavier has controlling Sam Dower.
And Sam Dower is exactly what Xavier needs, a stretch 4 who can step outside and shoot the basketball, opening up the lanes. I've been impressed with his footwork tonight, his focus. Again, the entire bench for Gonzaga tonight on a night where Kevin Pangos has been really ineffective in this game. Robert Sacre nursing that dislocated thumb has been ineffective, and you look for other guys to come and give you some energy and some production, and the bench has been that for the Zags. Much of that, of course, coming from Sam Dower.
Coming up, Oregon and Washington out in Seattle. And that's going to tip at 10:10 Eastern. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham standing by with the call.
Hey, John, I'm going to say this too. Gonzaga is better than people think they are. Elias Harris is back to playing at an elite level. Robert Sacre, of course, is always good inside. And the only question that they had was, how about their backcourt? And Gary Bell Jr., Pangos, David Stockton. And now with Guy Landry, Eddie back in the lineup, now they have some explosiveness from the wing. This is going to be a really tough team to beat in the WCC.
Pangos and Bell, very steady. And Bell, especially at the defensive end, has been something else.
And he's not only doing it on the defensive end, but because, you know, sometimes you get a defensive player that can't give you any offense, but he's shown his ability to be able to get to the rim, can make some open shots, 3 of 6 from the floor in this game. It's going to be a wild race in the WCC.
Wow. It'll be a lot of fun. St. Mary's, Gonzaga, and now BYU in the mix.
Don't overlook Santa Clara either.
Holloway scoops it in. 4.5 to go in this one. Bell gets it in, and they'll foul Pangos. That'll pretty much do it here at Cintas Center. Gonzaga coming up on Thursday. They'll take on Pepperdine, and then Santa Clara January 7th, St. Mary's January 12th. So that'll be on ESPN2, and then later on Loyola Marymount and San Francisco.
Matthew Dellavedova coming back into form. He's looking pretty good. He's one of those guys too, I feel like, has been around for years. Talking about Kevin Jones.
Yeah, at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Guys that, well, Robert Sacre we were joking about. I feel like Robert Sacre has been at Gonzaga forever. 50-year guy. And that'll do it. 72-65 the final score for LaFonso Ellis and our entire crew. I'm John Shambi from Cincinnati.